Greetings, friends, and welcome to the Gospel Underground Podcast. This is episode 25, Bon Anniversaire. We are broadcasting live. Yes, I did try to speak French.
Impressive French, Reid.
Happy anniversary or happy birthday, depending on context. Well, we are broadcasting live, Jesse, live for us from the Power of Change World Headquarters here in Blacksburg, Virginia. This is our one-year spectacular celebration, our anniversary episode, as it were, our silver 25th episode.
It's all coming together.
Time has flown by.
It has.
I was reading today about silver wedding anniversaries. Like, why do they call it gold and silver? And it was very complex, the answer to that. Do you know?
I have no idea.
That's what you give people on those anniversaries.
So I should have said I did know that.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I was much more stupider than you.
Yeah,
I
would never say that.
Yeah, I was not on cue. I had no knowledge of these things, and so this is our silver episode 25th.
Aren't you coming up on 25?
We are not super close. We will be our next anniversary will be 23.
Okay.
So 1996.
I didn't mean to impute more years to you than needed.
I'm realizing how actually old, seasoned that I'm becoming. I'm the character coach for the Blacksburg High School football team here at the local public school. And so I'm at football practices.
Bruins.
Yeah, man, we're doing it. And so my high school quarterbacking days, I'm reliving those and, throwing the ball techniques and everything.
You were a high school quarterback?
I was. I played quarterback my whole life from 5 years old all the way till I got in high school. We had this all-region guy, left-handed guy named Steve Beam, amazing quarterback. So I played like fullback, linebacker, and stuff till he graduated. And then my senior year, I went back into 5'7" quarterbacking.
You got a short offensive line?
Yeah, no, we had pretty good line. I just had to find gaps. We ran a lot of reads.
Okay.
I could read everything. I mean, we would run veer and read the fullback. I'd have to read the tackles and the ends and options and throw the ball or not and pull it out. I mean, it was a pretty complex offense, but I was little, man. And I did get recruited for football by the Merchant Marine Academy to play cornerback. I don't even know what the Merchant Marine Academy is. I guess it's lesser known than the Naval Academy.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I'm the
heck of a football team, though.
Yeah. I'm the character coach of the Blacksburg High School team. So I'm kind of trying to be around to be a friend to the guys and influence on positivity and good character traits. I'm doing kind of a non-chapel every Monday, and I realized how old I am because like these are literally my kids' age. Because I have two kids
in the high school. Yeah.
So be 46 this year. Still trying to keep it together, but 25th wedding anniversary still a little bit.
You still have time to save up for that silver present.
I guess, man. I guess we'll do something. If my kids keep getting injured and I have to keep paying all these medical bills every year, we've had broken leg, broken arm, broken nose surgery, and it's expensive, man. It really is. But it's 25th. Yeah, we'll do something. Or I'll have a ministry trip that I can,
That's right. You'll go to Iceland.
Tack something on the back of, so I can go for free. It's a better way to go.
That is, yeah. And no doubt you could make that work.
Yeah. So we're looking back today over our first year of the Gospel Underground. So we're going to reminisce a little bit, also look forward, and then get ready for it, folks. Introduce a new segment on the Gospel Underground here in a little bit, right? So we can hear the cheers.
Oh, ooh.
The ooh, what's happening? Well, looking back, I figured we could spend a few moments today because we started August of last year, towards the end of August, with episode 1, introduction, and we fumbled our way through, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And
that's right.
Getting a feel for things. But so I figured we could start today by just maybe sharing, both of us, maybe episodes that we enjoyed from the first 24, the first two dozen episodes. So I'm going to go first because my kids have this joke with me. It's pretty funny. And now my son picks up on family memes. We get these little phrases in our home that we say for a little while and we keep repeating them. Usually me and my son, because we're guys, I guess we're obnoxious. And I've been trying to, I'll try to get my kids, hey, did you listen to the podcast episode this week? And one time my son said, Dad, we don't listen to your podcast. And so now we have this cadence, he and I, whenever we do a new episode, I was like, hey, guys, did you know I had a podcast? And he's like, Dad, we don't listen to your podcast.
That's hilarious.
And so, but they did. We listened to the one on man up on the state of young masculinity on the way to Kentucky. We drove up there as a family, and my son afterwards said he just kind of put his hand around my back and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "We got some work to do with the men, don't we, Dad?" And I'm like, my
how old is he?
My 12-year-old.
12-year-old, yeah.
I was like, yeah, it doesn't have to be us though, man. We don't have to be like that. So, but that's not one of my favorite episodes. I have two.
Okay.
And ironically, if you look at the website stats, these are the two most hit episodes. Now, it could be because they're older and they were some of our early ones. But my two favorites are your interview with Rhys Bezzant. Because one, he speaks in Australian.
Oh, what a great accent.
Yeah, it's like, wow, we have an Australian on our podcast. But the topic you guys discussed, Lament.
Mm-hmm.
I feel is super helpful to endorse, particularly in certain circles that, America, we're supposed to, be happy. We're supposed to be successful. We don't like being depressed. We pay for, therapy more than anybody in the world. So I really, you say, hey, embracing the glory emotions as well as the more darkness of life. And so I really appreciate that. And also, it was one that you guys recorded, and I didn't even see it happen. I got to listen to it while I was driving in a car. So I was more just a participant.
That's right. We've recorded that. We set up a real quick mobile operation in a little Airbnb house in Southeast Roanoke.
Wow.
Yeah, I put him up there for a couple days, and we were spending some time in the city. And we just set up in there and recorded. It was fun.
I felt like I was listening to two friends sipping tea, talking about important things. And so I was like, hey, this is our podcast. And I'm on the road listening to a podcast like I've been doing for over a decade, listening to podcasts, but listening to ours.
That is fun.
Was really encouraging. So that was one of my favorites. And then my other favorite, I think, probably because of the emotional connection I have to it, was the Christmas episode that I did solo.
Yeah.
I've had more people talk to me individually saying, hey, I really, really like that, particularly guys, because it was basically about Christmas letters and this tradition that I've had with my kids for a long time with since they could read. And I had one friend, Tom Weaver, shout out if you're listening, in Texas saying, I listen to that and I think, man, that's easy to do. I can do that. And for me, growing up the way I did and kind of having a hard go with my dad, I've always wanted to be a dad. I want to be a good dad.
Yeah.
So trying to learn from everybody all the time. And so the fact that I could share something about being a father that other people might hear and put into practice, right, is encouraging because like we do this for the big money, right? Obviously, that's why we're in the Gospel Underground, but we really do it to contribute to others and to encourage, entertain, bless, maybe enlighten, maybe confuse with our crap. But those two stand out to me. Leaning into Lament with Rhys Bezzant kind of has a flow to it, rhyme flow to it, and then the Christmas episode. How about you?
Yeah, interestingly, mine are almost parallel. So I was thinking about this afternoon. My two favorite have been the St. Patrick's Day episode. So I just had a lot of fun with that one. I had fun. I had fun with us, researching. I had fun talking about, the traditions there. And that one was a fun one. Being Irish was fun for both of us. And
we weren't even drunk or
we
anything.
weren't even drinking green beer. It was still fun. Yeah.
Still had St. Patrick's Day. That was actually a big month for us too in terms of listeners. We had a big bump in St. Patrick's Day month.
Yeah.
So maybe others enjoyed it.
Yeah, and thinking about I had recently read a book, I probably mentioned it in that podcast, by Frederick Buechner called Brendan, who was a real life Irish monk, but he's kind of legendary. He's 2 generations removed from St. Patrick.
Wow,
a disciple of St. Patrick, and St. Brendan. The legend goes sailed to Brazil, and so in a I don't know, I forget what they call them, but like a wooden kind of they just build their own little wooden
sailboat,
ship,
Viking boat,
and
Celtic boat,
So I was kind of living in that world a little bit.
I need to read that book. You mentioned that one, and I said, wow,
it's real short. It's kind of a good little summer read. So
could read it in a couple evenings or something.
Yeah, maybe not that short. Well, for you, possibly.
I don't know about that.
And then the other one was actually the last one. Oh yeah,
hey.
I loved the last one
with Bob
Thune.
Shout out to Bob.
Yeah, you guys. I had the same experience where I was driving around traveling. And I was like, oh, yeah, the podcast is up. And I just got to listen to it. And I thought I was engaged the whole time. I was kind of in conversation with you guys in my car.
Thinking out loud.
Kinda. Yeah, thinking out loud. Man, I'm with Bob where you really have a market. You could you don't even have to start a website. Just say it on here. Send me your smartphone at $50 and I'll set it up for you for your kids.
Yeah. Bob said you have a little side hustle.
Yeah. You could, man. The way you were describing how you set up your kids' phones and the practices that you guys have, it was inspiring, and it also made me thankful that I could come over here and bring like a pile of phones in a few years and say, hey, set these up for me, Reid.
I think we may do something even at our church this fall, late fall. Maybe I was talking to our pastor, Brett, yesterday about that. And so, yeah.
Ooh.
Bob's good at figuring out side hustles. I need to pay attention to it. My wife would probably like that instead of me giving away everything.
I like that you give things away.
Yeah.
You know, I was tracking with you. You won.
I won. Of course I did.
Well, no. Hear me out here.
Premature celebration.
You were winning.
Oh, gosh.
For me. And then when Bob mentioned Jamie Smith, You Are What You Love.
Yeah.
You know, he started to pull me back.
I had no hope after that because you guys bowed down.
Fanboy. I'm a fanboy. And then the other thing is, I don't think he mentioned McLuhan or Neil Postman, but the idea that the media is the message, you know, that the phones themselves are shaping us, not just as content windows that things come into, but as an actual media, an actual shaping thing.
That they were not morally
neutral. That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he got me there. But, you know, at the end of the day, what you guys were describing sounded pretty similar.
Yeah, we both had similar convictions, which I didn't think it'd be much of a throwdown.
But it was a good listen for me.
But here's the thing. The Apple and the Google, they have us all.
They have us all.
And so even Bob, you know, he's 16 to 18-year-olds going to college with phones. They're unavoidable. They're part of our world. These windows into the world and shapers of us morally, spiritually are going to just be ever present. And depending on whose view of the future obtains, it could get...
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess the moral there is we do more holiday episodes. Keep the interviews going.
Holidays and interviews, yeah. Well, we'll talk about that here in a moment. Well, just to recount a little bit, you know, we started out and didn't know if we'd have much of an audience, and that was okay with us because we were doing it for the love mainly. And so we started out with tens, right? In our first few months, we had tens of listeners.
That's right. And I want to be clear that I knew I didn't have much of an audience. You were the one we weren't sure of. Well, not that you're famous. I don't want to go there again.
I'm not famous. Not famous, and I don't.
You're underground.
I
That's
don't
right.
dress as well as you do, for sure. But we started.
Are we going to do? We're not doing that.
We started with tens. And then we grew into tens of tens or something, and we have a pretty good audience. But we're not sharing any of that publicly because we treasure these things in our hearts, because we're not doing it for the crowns. Hopefully, we're doing it to serve others and to honor the Lord.
This has been a good servant to me too. You know, refining some of my thoughts on this. And to be honest, about half of these episodes, I learned things from you. When we had wireless mic in here, I was
wireless mic is brilliant. We need to have Mike back on again.
We need to have him back on so I can sit quietly and listen to you guys talk about technology. And so, yeah, this has been good for me too.
There's something that I think both of us enjoyed is talking about ideas out loud and things that matter to our world and to people. And I think we all grow and learn when we do that. And so thank you, brother. I can't thank you enough for being a partner in this crime. And I do think even, you know, get a little cheesy, a little sappy for a moment. I think we've become really good friends doing this year.
Yep.
So, well, we've always said this at the end of our shows that the Gospel Underground is a joint production of Power of Change and the Bonhoeffer House. So a little frequently asked questions. We are funded by POC and the Bonhoeffer House. We run this thing out of, you know, donations of Jesse's time, my time, and then we purchased all the gear ourselves, and we do we debated whether we're going to do the post-production and production ourselves. We do that as well. So we really are.
I appreciate all the we there.
Always say we. So yeah, we do it together, and your time is valuable. And man, we can't thank Bonhoeffer House enough to have this in your job scope, so to speak. And but we do want to remain underground. You know, I listened to a nerdy podcast yesterday about the advertising industry in podcasts, because there's kind of a wave now, and certain podcasts get very large and they start to make money, or they monetize, or depending on the accent, monetize. we're not doing that. We're not doing ads. We're not. We're keeping a shed quarters culture. We're going to keep it on the ground. We're going to keep it in the borderlands. So it's not only going to be, at least this particular podcast under this Gospel Underground is going to be church culture, both. Right. We'll take them to church sometimes, but we'll be talking about things very much present in our world. And our hope is to keep a culture that has truthful clarity, that has convictions. We don't want to do a convictionless dialogue about nothing all the time, but yet we want to have a posture of learners, gentleness, respectfulness to others and other ideas, even the stupid ones of the world. We want to be kind to.
Some ideas are so stupid.
Yeah, Reid. I know.
But I'm going to save that for our new segment.
Yeah, the new segment's coming later. We'll tell you about that. Yeah, and some of my ideas are very stupid, and I hate those the most. Well, in the coming year, by the way, if you like what we're doing, putting this mess out, please review us. Don't give us a 1-star. We don't like those. We're worthy of your 1-star, but give us 5 on iTunes. We do want review-ish us. That would be great. Well, the coming year, we're not doing a podcast in seasons. There are podcasts that maybe go 8 episodes at a time or 15 or whatever, and then they take a break, and then they go back into season 2. And there are other podcasts that kind of are ongoing, and we're kind of doing that ongoing thing, roughly a couple times a month-ish, right?
That's right.
We averaged out.
We averaged that out. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
24. And so Jesse and I have been looking at some spreadsheets and looking at dates and things. And so where we're headed, right, is hopefully twice a month if we can, maybe 3, maybe 1 from time to time, maybe taking breaks around holidays and things. But we're just going to be a serial up by 1 episode each time we go out. But we got some fun stuff coming on. We're going to do something on vocation, right?
That's right.
Secular stuff. I think Jesse's going to talk about that. The world of youth sports, billion-dollar industry, biotechnology, technobiology. We're going to do
Is
that.
youth sports a billion-dollar industry?
It's a lot. I read an article in Time recently. It's a lot. And it's crazy. I live in that world a little bit, probably too much, maybe. Showing my calendar to our pastor yesterday, and he goes, "You live an insane life with soccer." I'm like, it's so fun. We love it. We're going to talk about...
I'm glad it's fun.
Yeah, we couldn't do it otherwise. We're going to talk about karma and divine judgment, the different of those ideas this year. Maybe a Thanksgiving episode. Maybe the one we've been talking about for some time.
Yeah, we teased the woke, too woke, and broke episode about race and the gospel, and we'll get to that. Man, you know what? You don't have this on here, but... I have a confirmed date with Dr. Walter Strickland, the director of the Kingdom Diversity Initiative at Southeastern, for an interview. So I'm hoping to do that around the woke, too woke, broke episode. So yeah, looking forward to that too.
And in honor of St. Patrick, or at least that we podcasted about him, I figured we may take up St. Valentine. I know nothing about him. I believe he floats around with a bow and arrow. Yes, shoots people,
shooting people in the butt,
in their back bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. All our kids, we had front bottoms and back bottoms, and then we had girls. And then my son came, and my girl said, "Well, Tommy has a wobbly bottom," which was quite an experience to hear that. Of course, I love this sort of language, and my wife's like, "Should we let them say that?" I was like, "Hey, it's just phenomenological language." He does have a wobbly bottom.
Okay.
We're going to talk about breakups, divorce, and a social media era, how that stuff works. There's an interesting article we run across on that, and then I think a little bit of popular culture with something you're going to do on what
the horror film industry. Yeah, the genre of
horror.
Yeah, scare films.
Pennywise. I don't have the guts to see that. My wife.
It's a beautiful coming of age story. You should take your young kids. No, I haven't seen it. I'm kidding.
You know what? If
you're talking about the new
It. It's so it right now. Horror movies are most difficult to watch only if you have the sound on. If you want to not be scared by that type of stuff, turn the audio off. You can just chill right through the whole thing. Because the audio engineers, man, they earn their...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Any kind of jump scene without the noise. You should just watch them on mute.
Yeah. So my wife's opinion is all those films are of the devil. We'll talk about those.
Yeah.
See what you think about.
We'll figure that out for her. Well, yeah. Well, maybe we'll have her on here.
Yeah. Oh, geez. She's pretty black and white on that stuff. Well, hey, a couple comments about the podcast itself. Some of you may not know because a few friends have said, "Hey," one young man actually texted with me and challenged me a little bit on the my assessment of young men. And I was like, hey, did you read the show notes? Did you read the articles? He's like, oh, I didn't know about that. Well, every episode, we try to put together some pretty good notes. And if you have a good podcast reader, if you swipe to the left or right, you're going to see a long list of hyperlinks of books, web links of things that, what I'm calling web links of unusually reputable sources. They're kind of like ROUSs, but I'm calling them WLUSs.
Rodents of unusual size.
Yeah, just like that. Web links of unusual, reputable sources. So yeah, show notes.
It's got a nice ring to it.
It does. It's like gargling peanut butter, but we got those every time.
That's right.
We're usually going to provide you guys for free, right? Some things to read, or if you question some of the things we're saying, some of the debate that's happening on those subjects, we'll link to that. And so if you can't see show notes, you need a different podcasting application on your phone or your website, because you can listen to podcasts through various, you can listen to the built-in Google or Apple apps. They have podcasting apps. Apple's is terrible, I think. The one I really love, not to go into full review-ish, is one called Overcast. It's by a developer who I think was the software engineer and architect of Tumblr when it started. So this guy's a coding genius. Marco Armet's Overcast. It's a great podcasting app.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hey, there you
now
go.
I just use the Apple Podcast app.
Overcast is fantastic for a few things. You can set the speeds of how fast you listen to people. So if you want to get through somebody who talked really slow, you can speed them up. He has a technology called Voice Boost. So if somebody wasn't using the Electro Voice RE20 microphone, if they were using it, where
hashtag
you need
sponsored.
hashtag
Yeah, we're
sponsored. We're not in it for
yeah,
we're not in it
we're
for
not.
that.
Yeah.
Where you can boost the volume,
Okay.
the gain of just the voices. His app does that. And it also handles these built-in features to MP3 files really well. So like album art, you see the picture of the podcast you're listening to. If you pay attention, friends, and you're using something like Overcast, we switch the images throughout our podcast if we're doing review-ish or Ruts and Butts or some segment.
According to the segment, that's
According
right.
to the segment, yeah. So it might be a picture of something. Certainly last week when we did the thing on smartphones, there'll be a smartphone picture we were talking about, or Eero, the Wi-Fi router I was talking about. So Mark Armet, and it also shows the show notes really nice as well as those chapters. And so hit that up. Well, Jesse and I talked earlier this year about whether or not we were going to do more interviews, because this year we did we had 3 guests, I'd say. Is that correct?
I think that's right.
We had Rhys, Wireless Mike, twice.
And then
Bob Thune last week. So the answer I have for that is yes and no, right? We will do interviews. They're really good, but there's a lot of podcasts that are fully interview driven, right? It's a host and a new person almost every episode. I don't want to go in that direction,
right?
Because we're trying to have a dialogue, right, on the borderlands between church and culture, and so I like it having you and I talk to each other for the most part, and then using these interviews to launch further conversations with our audience and with one another. So we're going to do some more. You mentioned one already.
Yeah, that's
scheduled.
right.
It's going to be a great one. But we're also going to keep it where we're daring to try to be what we jokingly said on the website, to be the talent.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're both in agreement that as this podcast has developed over the last year, it's gotten better, I think.
We've gotten better in a lot of ways, audio technology.
Yeah. And even just, so for me, what I'm looking forward to over the next year is as you and I continue to grow and we're sort of building on episode after episode, that this dialogue would be worthwhile for people to listen to.
That's right.
So,
That's
yeah,
right.
I mean,
more interviews.
An occasional interview.
Selectively.
That's
right. Because what I want to avoid, and we're just joking about being the talent, we realize how lacking in talent we actually are. But what I want to avoid is just simply saying, hey, let's go get a famous person,
right,
or famous cultural person or famous Christian person, put them on. And that'll be what people are interested in, which is fine. I don't have any problem with interview-driven podcasts. They're very successful, probably some of the most successful formats. But I want to think about the things that we're talking about so that we ourselves can grow, and then certainly invite people on who will add to a conversation and deepen it. And certainly fascinating, interesting people like Walter we're looking forward to having on this year. Well, We've had a bunch of segments this year. Ruts and Butts, Ridiculous Things Under the Sun, Beautiful Things Under the Sun, In or Out, and its related sibling, right? Cool or not cool. We're just going to talk about different things that are out there on the web and in the news. Review-ish, right? Where it's not a review.
It's not a review.
We're not that into it.
But it's review-ish. It's ish.
Ish, right? Like, yeah, we'll talk about things that maybe lack depth in a book review or something, but hopefully we'll expose other people to things that we love. Take them to church, right? Jesse, I've loved it when you kind of go in on church, ecclesiological, church-based things. That's going to stay around, and you try to persuade me of maybe congregationalism at some time on a take them to church kind of thing. We'll see. But
oh, man, that's so easy.
So easy.
I'm going to get you.
That's too easy. So I wanted to introduce to you guys today on our silver episode 25th on our happy bon anniversaire 25th episode 1 year in, one more segment that I'm simply calling Rantology. So that's spelled R-A-N-T, rant, of course.
Rantology.
In sense that I have the Right Reverend Dr. Jesse Fury, MDiv, resident scholar of Rantology.
There's so much wrong with that introduction.
Future
but if you want to make me a doctor of ranting, I'll take it. Honorary.
If I just say the Right Reverend Future Dr. Jesse
Fury,
Fury, MDiv, that'd be pretty accurate.
It took me 12 years to get an MDiv. I don't know. I'm not quite on the 19-year track like you, but I got it.
Lord willing, spring I'll get one. So since you're going to be our resident scholar of Rantology, we'll probably both participate in ranting. I would like for you to kick off our Rantology segment by ranting about something. So here's
okay. First of all, some ground rules here, okay? We are not going to name names, right?
No names named?
Well, maybe one day.
Right, everybody names Joel Osteen. We won't name him.
Yeah. I won't. How about this? We won't name names unless they're public figures.
That's public figures on Wikipedia
That's
or with
right.
a blue check on their Twitter account.
Yeah, if you got a blue check on your Twitter, then you're fair game for a rant. But, okay, so here's what I want to rant. I threatened when I saw Reid earlier this week that I was going to go on a Twitter rant, kind of stringing together some tweets, and then I realized I probably shouldn't do that, at least with what I want to say, because it could be construed. Yeah, well, I just figured it wasn't the right medium for me to rant, so here we are, Rantology.
So we created a segment.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're
this
welcome.
Has been building up. Oh man,
it's like you. Yeah.
It's like the tea kettle's about to go off. So here's the thing I've been hearing. I've been reading it. I've been hearing it. And it's driving me. It's just driving me insane. It's this idea that God loves my messiness.
Oh.
So my messiness is beautiful to God.
Ah. Well, being philosophically interested, define messiness.
It's okay. So already you're asking too much of me if I'm the person saying this, because the way that it's been presented to me in what I've read,
right,
is that I don't need to change because God loves me just the way I am.
Yes, He loves you just the way you are. You say that to your 5-year-old. Everything about your mess, I love.
No, I don't say that to my 5-year-old.
That's right, because if they have a poopy diaper, they need it changed.
Yeah, listen. So here's the thing. So the idea behind this is that even if I'm a hot mess, let's say,
right,
that there's something inherently particularly beautiful about the messiness of me. Right? So that's more of what I'm ranting against. Now, if what you mean...
Like it's a new modern virtue.
It's a virtue. You've taken to be messy. To be messy is the virtue. Not that God loves me in spite of me. Certainly, the gospel... The good news is that God loves me in spite of my messiness. In fact, He has come into my messiness to redeem me, and then He's provided a way for my messiness to be clean through the gospel over time, from one degree of glory to the next. But when you are saying or writing that your messiness itself is inherently beautiful, here's what I want to say to you. Okay, all right. Here's what I want to say. This is okay. Here we go.
You're there. Stop it!
Classic Bob Newhart. Stop it.
Stop it.
Just stop it. Stop it. Okay. Your messiness is
A mess.
a mess. So think about it this way. If you came over to my house and I was having you over, hey, Reid, you and Casey, you guys come over for dinner, and our house was a total disaster,
Right.
just a complete mess. Everything's out of order. You walk up and you're stepping over all kinds. Now this is kind of true, but not exactly true. You're stepping over all kinds of stuff to get into the house. You open the door and it smells bad, and there's dirt everywhere, and there's smoke filling the
There's
house.
bodily fluids on the
yeah,
floor.
and
animal waste.
You would just be like, I don't want to be here. This house has not been prepared for visitors, and so what I want to say, I want to be the person. So people, I think, are too nice.
Yeah,
so they're too nice to tell these people who believe that their mess is inherently beautiful. They're too nice to tell them that no, it's not.
Yeah.
That actually their mess is preventing them from having meaningful relationships with people. Now, let me back up. We all are a mess.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
so
universal messiness, brokenness.
That's right. My rant
wickedness,
is not against
sinfulness. Right.
being a mess.
Right.
You can't help but be a mess in some ways. So I don't want to rant against that. I also don't want to rant against the idea that God loves me in my messiness.
Right.
That,
right.
Like
that you don't have to clean it up before God accepts you into His family. Or
And in fact, you don't have to clean it up in order to stay in God's family. It's not as though He saves you by grace and then says, now
kicks you out when you
don't mess up again. Okay, but God is at work transforming us from one degree of glory to the next, and in that transformation, we will one day not be a mess. Right, in the new kingdom, and the way that the scriptures portray this story of redemption, as we gain this new body, this new kingdom, this new earth and new heavens, and in that newness, our redeemed selves will be clean.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's interesting that is very common right today. That I think it comes out of the rejection of people for the thing that you mentioned that we don't agree with, right? That says that God doesn't like certain junk.
That's right.
Or if somebody is bad, they better clean it up, get right before they come to God, which is false. It's injurious. It's harmful. But I think we maybe have swung the pendulum to say, like, everything as it is without change is just cool.
It's just great the way it is.
Yeah, and it's not, right? I don't think any of us should feel about ourselves, right? We should accept our story. We should know our story. We should know the brokenness of it. But yet the redemption of it means that there's potential to change. And I think that, and just saying that, right? If we are to change, that has to be directional. It can't just be just aimless flux, right? We're saying, hey, we want to become more virtuous, become better even.
Sure.
Allow God to work in us such that the things that are just not good get transformed, put to death perhaps, and we move into a different reality with our character, with our life that is different.
That's right.
Yeah, the ancients and the scholars throughout history, used terms like virtues and vices, and it was clear the difference between the two. Not saying that we're all going to be virtuous, we're not, but there is a difference, right?
There's a difference, and I think in our current age of authenticity, to be true to oneself, it has become a virtue.
Right.
It's a cultural virtue, and so with that can come along this vice can sneak in there, which isn't necessarily, I would say, being true to oneself. Maybe it's neutral. I don't know.
Well, we don't want to be full of crap, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to be like
we don't want to be a hypocrite. We don't want to present something that's
wear
not
the
true.
Mask, fake it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Just
In fact, Jesus has strong words against hypocrites.
Yeah. Wear the mask.
And Jesus even takes it in the Sermon on the Mount further than just the Greek idea of wearing a mask. He takes it to the point of saying the inside and the outside being different.
Yeah.
So the mask idea, that the original idea of a hypocrite is someone who wears two masks, right? But Jesus says, no, it's even more than that. If you're a whitewashed tomb, if you're a bowl that's clean on the outside and dirty on the inside, you're also a hypocrite.
Right.
In other words, doing religious things with having a really corrupt, dirty heart that hasn't been presented to the Lord for cleansing is also hypocrisy. So, so in some ways, authenticity is a virtue, but when it becomes an excuse to not grow,
or to not care about change,
to not care, and to really demand. Here's the thing that at the end of the day I want to rant against. I certainly wouldn't want to rant against someone who's had a difficult experience in their life, maybe has really done some wicked things, and they realize
or had wicked things done
to them, and feel unworthy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want that person to think, "Oh no, I've got to clean up." No. In the middle of that mess, Jesus comes to the mess.
Yeah. Some of our friends use the phrase, "It's okay to not be okay." And I think that's a reality where we want to be people that welcome one another.
Yeah.
Because we're not okay, right? And we don't have to fake it that we're okay and or put on a happy face or whatever. But none of us want to say, hey, like the phrase that are written in a middle school yearbook, never change. It's, you're not okay, never change. You like that? Of course not. So we want to say, God, thank you for accepting me in my mess, through my mess, being present with me in my mess.
Yes,
What could you do with me? And then in even the essence of following someone else, right? If somebody say, what is Christianity? Well, it's trusting in and following someone else, right? If we were going to say, Jesus, right, I want to follow that guy, we obviously see something in his life, what he's done for us, who he is, the way he teaches, the way he lives, his flow with messy people even.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about Jesus, Jesus has, the Son of God, as we believe, came in a messy way, right? He came as a baby being born, which if you've been there, that's a messy thing.
Man.
And then he came into a messy, wherever he was, barn.
However, the debate over the description of
that's
that.
Right.
Original.
However it was, it wasn't a sterile hospital.
Yeah. It was just like that manger scene down the way. No, I'm just kidding. But exactly. It was animals.
Right. And his whole ministry is messy with messy people, and even his best friends are complete and total disasters in a lot of ways, and he still loves them. And what that shows us is that in our messes,
that's us.
That's
right?
us. Yeah. Like, we can't be too messy for Jesus. But then he takes us and begins to transform us. And when we sneak in the vice of, I am this way, and just trust me, God loves me just the way I am.
Everything
I don't have to change. Everything about this is good. Don't demand any change from me. Accept me as I am, or else. We make these, it's really unloving to other people. That's what the rant is ultimately driven towards, is let's love our neighbors, let's love our friends and family.
So let's
willing to change.
Yeah, and let's not give way to the goofiness of religious world that looks down on people thinking they're not a mess, because that, there's no one good but God, right?
That's right.
We are the mess. That's where we live. But yet, it's not a good thing.
We need help.
Yeah, we need help. We need change. We need a leader, someone to follow, and someone who can help us too, man. One of the things I love about when I became a Christian, the world got less lonely all of a sudden for me as a young man, that God was a present help in a time of trouble. I could look up to the hills. Where does my help come from? That wasn't an empty. There was, before, my worldview was that the world exploded into being and spread out fast. A lot of time, a lot of evolution is just me now, but yet there was nothing out there beyond us. And so in the lonely nights, when you look up to the stars and you wonder where's help coming from, there is none, right? It's a vast, empty, cold, dark space. So becoming a Christian for me was an affirmation. One, I needed help, and not only that, there was help available, which is amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you, Professor of the Right Reverend Future Dr. Jesse Fury, resident scholar of radiology.
You got to give me a new name.
Oh yeah,
I'll take it. Whatever you want to give me.
We'll have to make initials of that. Figure that out. But that's our rantology topic. You will see it again.
It's okay if you're
things.
a mess.
That's right.
It's okay if you're a mess.
You're like the rest of us.
You're like the rest of us. And if you were to ask my family, am I a mess? Of course I'm a mess.
But we don't want to confuse the ontological categories of goodness and messiness.
That's right. Yeah, it's okay to be a mess, but it's okay. It's good to aspire.
Yeah.
It's good to aspire to virtues.
Well,
to love our neighbors.
This podcast for the last year has been a mess. Our audio was pretty crap starting out. Got better.
But we love our listeners enough
That's
to
right.
make changes.
That's right. We
Yeah.
made changes and put new mics in, and we are grateful to be here after 1 year. 25 episodes now in the books. Review us on iTunes. 5 stars are acceptable because we needed to prop up our messy insecurities. The Gospel Underground is a joint production of Power of Change and the Bonhoeffer House. Send your feedbacks, comments, questions, topics you might want us to take up here on the Underground to info@gospelunderground.org. We are a dialogue taking place in the messy borderlands between the church and culture. We hope to see you out there. Peace.